we're back in Sarajevo territory over here. I want to say a few words within regards to another famous rabbi, chief rabbi he was of the Jews of Yugoslavia between the years 1972 to 1998. His name was Rabbi Tzadik Danon. Very great rabbi. I think he was born actually back in the year 1918 on the 20th of April. He passed away on the 2nd of March 2005. So I'm not recording this at the time of his Hilula per se, but we're going to explore a few of the highlights within regards to this, let's say, famous rabbi's life. He was the chief rabbi of Yugoslavia. He was from Sarajevo, which was, I believe, part of the Austrian-Hungarian, let's just say, empire where he was born in that stage in time. He would eventually, I think, pass away in Belgrade, modern-day Serbia, which obviously happened to be at that stage in time. Okay, so he wasn't born, as we said before, in Sarajevo. I'm not too sure if his father was a rabbi himself. His father's name was Daniel, and his mother's name was Gracia, I believe. Now, I think it's reported over that Daniel might have been the son, or maybe the grandson, of a famous rabbi of Sarajevo, or Bosnia, Rabbi Moshe Danon, who was a rabbi we've spoken about before in the series. I think he was a chief rabbi of Sarajevo between 1815 to 1830. He himself, I think, is buried in Stolac, which is obviously part of the, I think they're more Herzegovina area in Barcelona. Okay, in Bosnia. Okay, now he would receive his education. He would receive an education in Travnik. I think that's obviously central Bosnia-Herzegovina, respectively, and about 90 kilometers away from Sarajevo. Now, I think between the years 1932 to 1937, he would study in the Jewish Theological Seminary in Sarajevo. Remember, that was like, let's say, a rabbinic Jewish training school, which was under the direction of Rabbi Dr. Moritz Levi. Rabbi Levi, as we said before, Moritz Levi was a chief rabbi, I believe, of Sarajevo between 1917 until the Holocaust. Now, after he would receive a smicha, ordination to rabbinate, he would hold several teaching positions among various different communities. I think he would actually become a rabbi in Morochovica, which is actually in northern Kosovo. Now, we haven't actually spoken about many rabbis that would have a rabbinate role in Kosovo, so it's actually interesting to hear that he would actually be working there. He would also be working in Pristina, which is also, I think, the largest city of Kosovo, and also work in Split, I think, obviously in Croatia. So he very much had, let's just say, strong ties to Kosovo and so on and so forth. Now, I think there was Second World War, obviously. There was invasion of Yugoslavia. Rabbi Tzadik Danon would join the Teton Partisans forces. Come April 1942, he was captured by Italian military forces and imprisoned in a concentration camp in Italy. Now, he will escape from the concentration camp and join the Italian underground forces. Over there, most of his family, unfortunately, sadly, perished in the Holocaust. Very, very, very sadly. We see all the horrors of anti-Semitism, and unfortunately, seeing this inside this video, which we are speaking. And only 2 of his sisters would survive. So imagine the emotional torment he went through. In 1947, he would return to Yugoslavia until 1950. He would hold several rabbinical positions over there. In 1950, he joined the Yugoslav diplomatic service. I think between 73 to 1970, he would serve as a Nordic countries, head of Nordic countries departments, respectively, over there. This would have been around that specific point in time, as it says over here. Yeah. Northern parts of Europe, respectively, over there. Relations. He was the head of relations at the Yugoslav embassy in Sweden. It was reported over. So this was between 1968 to 1970. So I think there was Scandinavian ties. In 1972, after retiring from, let's say, Yugoslav Foreign Service, he was appointed the chief rabbi of the Jewish community of Yugoslavia, a position he would hold until 1998. He would write various Torah books or Jewish books on, let's say, Jewish law, respectively, and other, let's say, importances of let's say, the history of the Jews of Yugoslavia, folklore, for example. Now, I believe he passed away in Belgrade in the year 2005. He was 86 years of age. He was. Now, I think his daughter, Daniela Danon, serves, I'm not sure if this was as of recently, the Director General of the Jewish community in Belgrade. I'd like to know more in regards to her, what happened to her. That'll be definitely quite interesting to hear. So there's a lot of information actually on him online. He spoke Spanish, I think. He lived at a time period where there was Rabbi Dr. Moritz Levi. Another one of his rabbis, I think, was Rabbi Mordechai Tzvi Orbach, who was Ashkenazi chief rabbi of Sarajevo, if I'm not mistaken. Another rabbi of his time was Rabbi Menachem Romano, another great rabbi who would live in his time, rabbi we've spoken about before on this series. I think he would be a chief rabbi at one stage in time between the years 1946 and 1968 of the Jewish community of Yugoslavia, respectively. He actually is a son of Abraham Romano, and he himself, Rabbi Menachem, has a son called Rabbi Yasha Yaakov Romano, who is also a doctor, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, and has a position had strong position, I think, in Yugoslavia also. So that is very interesting. So Rabbi Tzadik Danon, famous rabbi of that point in time. It's actually an interesting article. I think you can find it on the various different, especially the National Israel Library, actually contains various articles within regards to him. And there's a whole, let's just say, document within regards to him. I hope maybe you can find his book online also, possibly also connect to National Israel Library. Also, I think there's some PDFs and informations, and there's actually according to one status, maybe his first name was Daniel Tzadik Danon. So it'll be interesting to know. So that's it could be his first name was Daniel, but he's known as Rabbi Tzadik Danon, I think, by most. He actually, when he was young, I think he received a religious education in Sarajevo. I think he was part of various youth movements also. At that stage in time, there was a lot of, let's say, Zionistic youth movements all throughout Sarajevo and Bosnia and Yugoslav countries all throughout his time. So it's very, very interesting. I recommend everyone to learn more within regards to the famous rabbis. And friends, we're a community here. We're learning about the famous rabbis of yesteryear. If you descend from any of the great rabbis, please send me an email. I would love to hear more information here. If you haven't subscribed yet to the channel, please subscribe now to the channel. We are nearing a staggering 7,000 subscribers. I would have never imagined that from the get-go when we learned about this, when we started this series. Now, if you you feel anyone is interested in watching these videos, please share these videos to other people. Remember, he was a Talmid inside this famous theological seminary. This theological seminary, rabbinic training seminary, this actually ran between, I think, the years 1928 to 1941, till the time period of the Second World War, towards more of the start time period. There was many famous rabbis there, and we actually did a video covering some of the history with regards to the various rabbis, part of the rabbinate of this seminary, so on and so forth. So recommend everyone to look more into that. And Shabbat Shalom. I'm recording this just before Shabbat Parshat Pinchas over here in Israel. So it's nice to come in with a nice informative video of the history of famous rabbis of yesteryear. So we've already covered on this series maybe about as many as 40 rabbis probably from Yugoslavia, which is a phenomenal achievement. And I don't think we've covered many videos on rabbis that were prominent in Kosovo. So he is definitely one of the first ones to be spoken about. So thank you very much. Have a good Shabbat and be well, everyone. Thank you for watching.